Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. Well, according to my comments over the last 5 years, a lot of people really value brands that are made by dermatologists. And I'll be honest, they're very few and far in between. Wait, is that the right saying? There's not a lot of them. There are in Korea. There seems to be a lot of dermatologist created brands, whereas in like the UK and America, they tend to do the same that is like dermatologist tested or created alongside dermatologists. But the brands I want to talk about today are, first of all created by dermatologists, and second of all, are all actually good. Not that that's a surprise. The brands I'm going to talk about today, the dermatologists that created them, are also influencers, and people got offended when I called dermatologists influencers, but you could be both. Influencer isn't a dirty word. There's nothing wrong with being an influencer and a dermatologist at the same time. And I think products that come from dermatologists are interesting because not only do they kind of get the feedback from their clients that they see day in, day out, so many different skincare concerns and conditions, but they also get the feedback from the average consumer on platforms like TikTok and YouTube, products that the average consumer likes, doesn't like. So I feel like they're getting a lot of feedback in so many different ways, and I feel like this particular group of brands in particular have managed to crack that fine line between effective skincare that's really, really nice to use and is commercially attractive as well. As you can see, I'm breaking out a fair bit. This is what, as somebody with rosacea and quite easily sensitized skin, this is what a bad sunscreen, not a bad sunscreen, but a sunscreen my skin doesn't enjoy can do to my skin. It was fine like 2 days ago, and then I use a new sunscreen and it's just stinging and red or whatever. So now is the time I thought to share the dermatologist brands because they're quite nice, they're quite gentle, my skin can handle them, whatever condition they may be in. I'm going to talk about a fairly new one, and this is the Dr. Idris Face Wash Complete Daily Cleanser. This is the brand Dr. Idris by, of course, Dr. Shreen Idris. But it's still early days of it, but it's a cleanser. You know if a cleanser is going to work or not. Now, people have asked me why I've not talked about Dr. Idris before, and I actually have, mainly on my shorter form content. A serum we're going to talk about in a bit I use all the time. But when this was first sent to me, not this, but the products in all, I was moving house and I lost a whole box of skincare. I don't know where it went. I don't know if it got muddled up in like the rubbish versus what I wanted moving, but I lost so much stuff. There was a Yes Style order in it. There was Dr. Idris products. There were so many things in it that I just lost. But Dr. Idris is one of my favorite dermatologists online. Actually, talking about every dermatologist in this video, Dr. Idris manages to do skincare content that's engaging, captivating, fills you with knowledge and genuine good tips and advice without over sensationalizing things in order to get views. And I feel like that's a very hard thing to do if you've not been an influencer for a long time. I feel like there's quite a few dermatologists who can't do that as successfully as these dermatologists we're talking about today. This is a lovely jelly cleanser. It's a little bit thicker than you would expect a cleanser to be, but it does kind of make it that perfect kind of double cleansing cleanser. It's got some really gentle cleansing agents in, and then it's got a ton of glycerin in it. So you get that really super hydrating kind of wash. And then there's polyglycerol in here, which according to the website contains coconut fatty acids to soften and leave the skin supple. And again, it's what you'd expect from a modern day cleanser. Doesn't leave your skin stripped, it feels untouched, which we like. What I do love about this is a lot of cleansers say they can double cleanse, and you're like, can you though? Can you actually really? And some of them do, most of them don't, but even if you could, to remove sunscreen and makeup from around your eyes with a cleanser isn't usually the nicest thing because it will sting your eyes. I saw a TikTok on Dr. Idris's TikTok literally yesterday, where she like rubbed this over her eyes and then rinsed it away, not in her eyes, but you know, she was removing makeup and sunscreen, whatever, and her eyes were absolutely fine. I was like, I don't believe that, because I've never truly had that kind of like non-eye irritating experience. So I did it last night and absolutely fine, absolutely fine. I had a tinted sunscreen on my eyelids and it just rinsed it away perfectly. My eyes didn't get cloudy like they do with like a cleansing balm or a cleansing oil. No tears, kind of baby shampoo style. So I'm really enjoying this so far. It doesn't foam up, so if you are somebody who likes to be satisfied from a foam, you won't enjoy this. It very much just glides around the skin, giving you time to gently massage in and then rinse away. So far, so good. So you can use this as a double cleanse if you do have a lot of makeup on, or maybe you've been reapplying sunscreen consistently throughout the day because you've been outside all day. You may want to use this as just your second cleanse and use an oil cleanser or whatever to do your first cleanse. But I've been using this as a first and second cleanse with no issue whatsoever. We will be coming back to Dr. Idris. Let's move on to Precor, which is Dr. Sam Ellis's brand, and to say that I've been obsessed with Prequel is an understatement. I have been obsessed. The Prequel cleanser has kind of become a bit of an icon amongst skinfluencers and the skincare community because it is one of the most interesting cleansers I think that's been launched for a while. This contains a 50% glycerin, which is a huge amount, and you can really see that in the kind of like jelly-like texture of this product. It's a lot softer and kind of like fluidy than the soft wash, but still has that thickness to it. And this gives a really nice soft foam that does feel like it's a moisturizer, if you know what I mean. Like you foam up and then you just feel like you're rubbing in something so gentle and nourishing. We also have arginine, oat, and aloe, so it's super soothing. It leaves your skin feeling, again, untouched, even moisturized to a point. It's weird because I've never used a facial cleanser like this. There have been ones that have been similar, but they don't quite leave you with that untouched feeling. I've used a lot of body washes like this, and that's interesting because they say that this is for face and body. I've had this since it launched. It's not good. There's so much left, and I use it every single day, morning cleanse or evening cleanse or both. It's like grubby because it's in the shower. It's got hair dye on it. It's got water stains. You know, this is just a cleanser I want to use and really look forward to using. I mean, it's $18 for 400 milliliters. That is a bargain. And with Prequel, that's what you're getting quite consistently throughout the whole brand, is really affordable, high quality products. I absolutely love this one. Starting from now, because they're throughout the whole video. Okay, I'm now going to start using these products because I'll be doing my skincare routine. A product that I've talked about non-stop, and you're probably sick to death of hearing, is the Universal Skin Solution Dermal Spray for face and body. This is 0.2% hypochlorous acid, electrolyzed water, a soothing mineral concentrate. Now, the best way to describe hypochlorous acid and super simplify it is it's like an anti-bac for your face. So if you're experiencing breakouts, irritation, rosacea, if you just had Botox, this is a Botox mark by the way, if you just had Botox done, filler, if you've had, you know, like micro needling done to your face. Hypochlorous acid is something that Dr. Sam Ellis says that she uses on her clients before services like that. There's also soothing mineral concentrate in here, which they say is an optimal magnesium content to help soothe and strengthen the barrier function of the skin. I use this every single day without fail because I've always got rosacea. I'm kind of always breaking out. I've not had a breakout for a long time. But it does just calm everything the fuck down. Like, I wish I had this in my life all the time, all the time. I wish I knew of this, like, growing up. I wish this was something that derms shared with us, like, 10 years ago, you know? It's great for cuts, scrapes. You could use it on your pets. If they've got, like, a little cut somewhere or something, you could spray it on them. There is a little bit of talk how hypochlorous acid can basically render your antioxidants useless, so I personally use this in the evening. I have started using a vitamin C more in the mornings, just for its antioxidant benefits. So I would use hypochlorous acid in the evening when I'm not using vitamin C, let that dry down completely before I then go into my next steps. Next up is a new one from Prequel. Again, this is their Redness Reform Soothing Serum with soothing molecules, oat, arnica, and vitamin F. I've been using this solidly for about 2 weeks now. Have I seen much difference in the redness of my skin? No, because the only redness I get is rosacea, and this isn't gonna magically get rid of the redness from rosacea, you know? But for me, it's important to have a consistent, soothing, redness relieving, calming serum throughout my routines, especially in my evening routine, which is all about correcting. So I was a little bit confused what they meant by soothing molecules, but on their website, they say it's a custom advanced molecule blend inspired by nature, but with significant soothing benefits that provide beneficial topical redness relief and reduces underlying sensitivities. Still not 100% sure what it is, but because I love Prequel so much, I don't care. I actually bought this. I bought this out of my own money. Oh no, I got one gifted. I bought 3 more out of my own money before I even knew if I liked it. That is how much faith I have in Prequel and their products because I love them. I knew I'd like it. They have oat kernel extract, which of course we know to be soothing. Somebody who tests skincare consistently, somebody who has rosacea, I need that soothing serum consistently within my routine. Oat is great for that, and vitamin F is great for barrier support. This is green. It has no color correction in it. I think that's one thing that a lot of people people thought it was. It's not a color corrector. It doesn't go on green. I think the green is from that soothing molecule. I think I made that up. I don't know actually. But yeah, I've been absolutely loving this. It's kind of like a thick gel cream. You know, like the Lotus watery cream from Rovectin. The texture very much reminds me of that, but it just feels really hydrating as well. It does feel really soothing. What I will say is, whilst I've been using Precor products in my routine consistently over the last like 4 months, I would say, my redness that I get from rosacea when I flush, the breakouts that I do get, I don't get that itchiness. I don't get that need to like pick at my skin and like dig. I always say this, but I used to dig, if I had a spot, I would dig my nail in and like scratch it kind of thing. I don't get that anymore. I feel soothed. My skin feels calm even when it doesn't look calm. So I wonder if it's just a coincidence, but you know, it has been since I've been consistently using Precor products. Let's head back to Dr. Shreen Idris's brand with Dr. Idris. I will say, I think I prefer the name Dr. Idris over the previous name. I know, it just looks cool now. It looks good. This is the Depuffer Roll-On Serum. When I first saw this, I was like, that's a really cool idea, but is it going to make applying a serum really like annoying? No, it doesn't. It's not at all. So they say this is a deflushing, depuffing powerhouse serum, clinically proven to relieve transient skin redness and minimize under eye puffiness, supercharged with high performance actives like arnica to reduce local swelling, and Centella asiatica to relieve visible facial redness. So yes, of course we have Centella asiatica, which is soothing. We all love Centella. Well, I think most of us do, right? Arnica to reduce swelling. What else do we use arnica in? Have you ever used arnica cream for a bruise before? This feels so nice. It does feel really, really good. The roller is constantly cold. Like, you don't have to keep it in the fridge or anything like that. It's really soothing. Now, all I don't know if you have to, but I like a little bit more. So I give it a really gentle squeeze and then I roll it on. We have glycerin in here as well. There's something called ash bark extract, which I've never heard of before, which helps depuff. So I'm just making sure I'm rolling this in a direction that feels nice for me. Does anybody else's forehead feel like it needs a really good massage? We do have niacinamide in here as well, which has a ton of benefits. In here, they say they're actually using niacinamide for its soothing and skin barrier restorative properties, which is one of niacinamide's many, many benefits. You can see that I have quite reactive skin, like my skin's not going red. This is just when I bother or like push down on my skin. I flush a little bit, but that goes in like 10 minutes. Yeah, I actually really enjoy it. As a soothing serum, I do reach for the Precor one more, but when I'm feeling a little bit bougie, in the evening when I'm taking my time to get ready, or if I'm going out, I'm getting up early, going out and I look shit, basically I look like I've just woke up, I will use that roll-on in particular. Again, we'll be coming back to Precor and Dr. Idris, but let's go over to Remedy, which is Dr. Shah's brand, and I feel like I've had this for about three-ish weeks now, and I feel like I'm able to give it a decent review. So Remedy for pore size is the one I've mainly been using over Remedy for dark spots because I just don't have dark spots. I probably will do now after these spots, as I'm very prone to like post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. But of course, the idea of this is to help minimize the appearance of enlarged pores, and that's by targeting things like blackheads, sebaceous filaments, helping improve texture, regulate sebum production. And to help with that, as with both of the Remedy serums, it's packed full of really interesting ingredients. This is what I mean by, I feel like derm influencers are able to see what has been effective for people for specific skincare concerns, both in their clinics and commercially, and kind of combine that to make a serum that everybody's just like, why has nobody combined these before? Like, put all the good stuff into one serum, and I feel like that's what Remedy has done. So in here, we have 0.3 encapsulated retinol, 1% encapsulated salicylic acid, 5% niacinamide, green tea, perlite, and quinatin, which I've not heard of before. So encapsulated retinol is great even for those with more sensitized skin because it works a lot slower, it's more stable, but this can obviously help with your pore size, texture. 1% encapsulated salicylic acid, again, we all know that's great for blackheads, sebaceous filaments. 5% niacinamide as well. Niacinamide is one of those few ingredients that even dermatologists are like, some studies have shown that with very consistent use, it can potentially help literally make your pores smaller, along with improving the appearance of enlarged pores because of its sebum regulating. Green tea, great soothing, great antioxidant. ingredients. On here, they're saying it's polyphenols that help regulate oil production. We have perlite as well, which is like a very fine powder, right? I think, which basically helps absorb excess sebum. And quinatin is the only ingredient I hadn't heard of in here before. So they say it's a plant-derived cytokinin that improves skin texture and helps minimize pores. Sure. So I wouldn't use this alongside all these other products usually, but I'm just kind of showing you in real time how I use it. I have only been using this in my T-zone, a very small amount where I feel like my, where my pores are most obvious and where I really am that oily. So I was a little bit worried because of the sheer amount of amazing actives in here that my easily sensitized skin might struggle with this, especially using it alongside some of my own favorite actives. So I did cut down on everything. So I was using this as my only pore targeted exfoliating product whilst testing it and using other actives in the morning, but my skin's been absolutely fine with it, absolutely fine with it. There is a, hang on, let me get my mirror. There is a one pore here that does my head in. It constantly looks like I have like a small spacious filament in, and I've seen a lot of improvement. Can you see it? I've seen a lot of improvement in that one pore over the last 3 weeks. And I think it's just because I'm consistently using this product. Sorry, I had to stop and put these in. My hair's drying out way too quick. But yes, I feel I've seen such a obvious difference to the appearance of my pore size using this particular concoction of ingredients in this serum delivery kind of method than I have done using typical BHA chemical exfoliants, for example. So yeah, I'm excited to use this for another 4 weeks. So just under 2 months. No, I'll give it a little bit longer. Another 4 or 5 weeks. I really see in the long run how much it improves the pores, especially on my nose. I love a cleanser from them. I feel like all these like influencers and derm influencers always make good cleansers. I don't know what it is. Okay, next up is another one from Dr. Idris. This is one of the first products I ever actually used from the brand. I'm not using it today because I'm using a fair few different actives and this has vitamin C in. That being said, I'm able to use this when my skin's in all sorts of different conditions with no issues whatsoever. So sorry, this is Major Fade Active Seal Vitamin C Gel Moisturizer. Put this in a pump bottle and you could convince me it's a serum. Like it's that slightly thicker consistency, but it's also not, doesn't feel like a thick moisturizer, but leaves you moisturized enough. This is going to be amazing coming up to the summer now here in the UK, even though it rained today, to layer under the layers and layers of sunscreen that I'm going to have to be applying when I'm out in the sun. To work with the vitamin C in here to help fight against free radical damage. They also have ceramides in here before butyrescarinol. That's not how you pronounce it, but that phase discoloration. We have hexapeptide 2 to help with fine lines, and then vitamin C ester to brighten and defend your skin. And glycerin as well. So as I mentioned, this one I used very early on when the brand first launched before I lost it, but I didn't use it consistently enough to see any differences really, to be honest with you. But as a nice lightweight moisturizer for people of all different skin types, conditions, etc., it's such a good choice from these dermatologist brands. I think as well, if you're like me and you're really trying to incorporate vitamin C into your skin, but you kind of really don't want to, I think at the moment I'm using the Prequel Vitamin C. I've used the Naturium one before, which I really liked. Summer Fridays did a really amazing one. Glow Recipe do a nice one. Dermatica do a really nice vitamin C serum. You know, I'm trying to use them because as I get older, I want to kind of help fight free radical damage that little bit more. To have vitamin C in a step that you already have in your routine, like a moisturizer, is probably the way I'm going to be using it going forward. So I'm looking forward to introducing this into my routine. I think I just get a little bit like, oh, when I have to use a vitamin C serum, when all I want to do is just use another serum in place of it, if that makes sense, but still keep my routine fairly minimal. So I'm looking forward to using this more. It's such a lovely texture. There's no smell to it. But yeah, definitely one of my favorites. And that's where we end with Dr. Idris. I am looking forward to cracking open the serums in a couple months time, in a couple months time when I finish experimenting with a few other products. Going back to Remedy, this is probably for me my favorite product from the brand. And I know it's really silly because it's literally just a lip balm. It's sold out for a reason. I think this was going very, very quick. This is like, so I'm really into like lip balm. Oh, sorry, this is Remedy for dry lips. So I'm really into lip balms that don't just moisturize your lip, but actually hydrate your lips as well. There's something to this lip balm that feels like it happens in 2 stages. So you put it on and it feels kind of almost watery. Like there's a real slip to it. There's a real glide. It feels like you're kind of putting like a watery serum on your lips. And then when you're done, you're like, Oh no, hang on, that's like a lip balm. My lips feel nourished and moisturized, but like all that's gonna be locked in without it being I don't know how to describe it. It feels like a diluted Vaseline in the sense that it's almost like a hydrating toner meets Vaseline. Shit description. Sorry, that's terrible. So you have petroleum, squalane, and shea butter, kind of what you would expect to find in a lip balm. Ceramides, especially nowadays, now they're kind of like the buzzword, but it makes sense for it to be in a lip balm. Peptides in here as well really help plump and add that hydration to the lips as well, like lock that all in. We have aloe leaf extract as well. There's just something like, it's not watery, but there's something that feels like quenching to it, even though it's in such a thick consistency. I've just not used a lip balm like this. That's not to say they don't exist. It's just I'm so used to having something a little bit heavier or lighter, like they're either one or the other. One hydrates, one will moisturize. I just wish I had ordered some. I wish I had backups because it's sold out now for at least a month. Also, I want this, but in like this size. So if you could just do that would be great. This is so sad. I thought I lost this and I threw the biggest hissy fit. I threw the biggest tantrum. Luckily, I was on my own. I have this issue with lip balms where if I really like it, this one and the Experiment one in particular is so good. And the Makeup Academy one's really good. I will take it everywhere with me, right? And I will buy lots of them so I could have them in every pocket. And I took this to London with me and I left it in my bag, but I thought I put it in a pocket. So I spent literally like an hour digging through every piece of clothing I had, every pocket, being like, where is it? What the fuck is it? Knowing that it was sold out. And then I found it in my bag where it was. That's how much I feel connected to this product now, that I will throw a tantrum if I can't find it, or if I don't have another one immediately. It's really good. So that would usually be a morning moisturizer. So my more evening-based moisturizer, even though I've used this lots during the day, is Prequel's Barrier Therapy Skin Protect Cream. This again has, where is it? 1% colloidal oatmeal, really soothing, moisturizing, relieves a lot of itchiness, a lot of irritation. Allantoin again, really moisturizing, and ceramides as well. So to help strengthen the skin barrier and again, keeping all that moisture and hydration. When I first saw this, they say that this can be used for face and body, which is kind of a little bit of a consistent thing with Prequel. Being somebody who grew up in the 90s, and I only know face and body products to be like those 7-in-1 for men Lynx kind of situations, I was like, there is no way there is a moisturizer that is thick enough for the driest patches on my skin, yet light enough for the oily T-zone on my face, yet somehow Prequel has managed to do that. I think it's because whilst it looks thick and feels heavy-ish, when it goes on, it kind of just breaks down into this really, not breaks down, but spreads out into this really nice lightweight moisturizer that is deeply nourishing enough and moisturizing enough for you to feel that kind of moisture, but at the same time doesn't sit heavy and greasy on the skin. This is my second tube of this stuff, which I've been using for ages. You're just never gonna get through this. They're huge. $18 for 296 milliliters is crazy. There's so much. But yeah, as I mentioned, use it morning and night, especially in winter. I think coming up to summer, as somebody with oily skin, this might be a little bit, it's not heavy, but I don't think I can go out into hot weather with it kind of thing with my oily T-zone. But for the evening, when I'm at home and everything's a little bit cooler, I feel like I need this moisturizer at this point. I feel like this is something that I've seen such improvements with as far as irritation relief, redness relief, barrier repair, that along with Astura and Ilium's Atto Barrier moisturizers. It's just in the cycle of moisturizers that I use consistently every evening. I already have an open one in my dressing room, but I'm going to open a new one here because I'm going through this like crazy. This is their Sun Barrier Mineral Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50 PA4+, 18% zinc oxide and antioxidants. This is one of the lightest weight mineral sunscreens I've used in a long... Where did my hair patches go? What was I wearing then? Oh, I don't know. This is one of the lightest weight mineral sunscreens I've ever used, ever. And it does have this peachy hue to it, which does kind of counteract that usual like very white mineral sunscreen cast that a lot of people get. That being said, it still looks a little ghosty on me, but after about 30 minutes with this on, that kind of like white sheen does disappear, and it does kind of just have this like healthy looking peachy glow to it. But what I will say is if you are much darker than me, even by a couple of shades, I think you might struggle again with this. It's a zinc sunscreen, you know? So this has bioactive antioxidant compounds in, which is obviously just antioxidants to help fight that free radical damage. Pongamia, never heard of it again, reduces skin stress after UV exposure and environmental aggressors, which sounds amazing. Bisabol and Centella asiatica to help reduce redness, I've heard of before. But it's very rare for a sunscreen to not irritate my skin. As I mentioned, this breakout is from sunscreen. This is a Botox injection site. That was absolutely fine until I used this new sunscreen. It just seemed to have irritated it. My rosacea flared up after this sunscreen. Again, it's not this sunscreen. The one I'm talking about that won't be named is not a bad sunscreen. It's just my skin is the way it is. And this is one of the only sunscreens, along with maybe 5 others, that I can use guaranteed, no irritation, no eye stinging, nothing. Not every dermatologist brand has come out with a sunscreen yet. And I kind of see this in the comments a lot. And they're like, why? Because dermatologists are constantly stressing the importance of sunscreen. And I think that comes down to production, basically. Sunscreens are notoriously hard to make, hard to get approved, expensive as well. I'm guessing that Dr. Idris and Remedy have them in the pipeline or are currently making them. But again, they're expensive, they're hard. I don't know business, but I'm guessing if you are a new brand, it doesn't quite make financial sense to launch a sunscreen, you know, unless you have kind of the support behind like Prequel does with the center to help with those type of production issues. My guess why they launched a mineral versus a chemical sunscreen first of all is probably because it was just ready in time, I'm guessing. But yeah, I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this. The longer it's on, the less casty it looks. It's in like what, 2 minutes and already looks better. So I really love the glow that this gives you. I just want to give one last shout out to Prequel. Honestly, obsessed. This is their Skin Utility Gel Multi-Purpose Skin Protectant. This has 60% glycerin, 5% vitamin B complex, and a bioactive soothing complex. Now, I've been using their Skin Utility ointment religiously. This is my slugging product, right? It's a little bit more elegant than Vaseline with a few more skincare benefits. So, you know, it is kind of like slugging with benefits, you know, because usually slugging is just that petrolatum layer. This is fucking genius. So this is like a skin slugging gel. They don't advertise it as that. They obviously say it's a skin utility gel that uses 20% glycerin as that skin protectant. So it's lightweight, it's moisturizing, hydrating, soothing, without being Vaseline-y, without being suffocating and heavy. Not that this product is at all, but this is definitely a summer slugging product versus this, which I'll be using the winter when my skin is a lot drier. I have aircon, I use fans in summer as well, so my skin can still get pretty dry during the night. So I will be using this lighter weight slugging kind of product for those times, just to keep my skin in check. I've only been using this for like a week, so we'll come back to this in a future video. But there we go. Those are some Dermatologist brands products that I've been absolutely loving. Let me know if you try this in the comments. For those who are in the UK or in Europe who wonder how I get these products, some of them are gifted. The ones I purchase myself, I use a service called Ship It To, non-sponsored. They've lost a package of mine once in like 3 years. They're pretty trustworthy and I usually always get my packages. It could be a little bit expensive though, but it's basically you get an American address that they then ship to you in the UK or the rest of Europe. So it can get a little bit pricey, but yeah, just thought I mention that. If there's any products in particular that you want to see from these brands, let me know and I'll get onto them in the next lot of product testing months. You can watch some more product reviews here, some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.